What's your name and role in the university? My name is Katja Pilhuj, and I am a lecturer and course director for English literature. What's your experience in your field? A lot of teaching. I have been at Coventry University for about 2.5 years now. I moved here from the US, specifically Charleston, South Carolina, where I actually taught English literature at a military school. Before that, I got my doctorate of philosophy at the University of Miami in South Florida. I like teaching here, and I do mostly teaching reading literature, writing essays. My own specialty is looking at early modern cartography and drama, so if you have any burning questions about really old maps, I'm obviously the person to come to. What do you love most about teaching? I'd have to go back to the students. It's really gratifying to see them grasp a concept in class during discussion or tentatively ask a question where they're really making an excellent point, and I tell them, like, no, that's really good, let's talk about that, and they just, like, the look on their face, like, it just lights up and they get excited because they're, you know, to give them that confidence and that excitement about just thinking, basically. What's the biggest myth about your subject? That English literature, that it is an easy degree, that it is a McDonald's degree, that you're just gonna learn how to ask if you want fries with that. I get that a lot. I got that a lot when I was doing my own English degree. That it's not really a useful degree, which I don't think is very true at all. And I will use myself as kind of a counterexample. I never expected to be a teacher, especially at a higher ed institution, and I actually chose an English degree because I had professors and lecturers who explained to me, like, no, it's actually really applicable and the skills are super transferable. That if you can read and break down, you know, a medieval poem or an ancient Greek play or a postmodern novel, you can break down and explain and understand pretty much anything. And whether that's going to be a job at like a marketing firm or creating content for a TV station or, you know, even just developing training for even just like a financial company, the skills of being able to communicate effectively and to look at complex ideas and then kind of understand them and break them down for people, that you can do that in any job. You don't have to become a professor. I mean, it's kind of cool, but you don't have to be a teacher. What is your teaching style? So I think some days, much to my students' disappointment, like especially this morning, I like to get them to talk, sometimes more than me. And I think a lot of them find that intimidating. But hopefully, after a few class sessions in, I'm somewhat informal enough and definitely make fun of myself, as I'm probably doing here, without even realizing it. You know, they feel a bit more comfortable and more confident to actually talk, and we figure out ideas and what's going on in a text or a film together. Do your students just sit in lectures all day? No, they don't. Hopefully, as I've gotten across earlier, they, you know, we have discussions. We watch film clips. We'll even read out or act out scenes, because I do a lot of drama, both in literature and life. And, you know, you also have chances to go on field trips. We have gone to different museums, because you can't do literature without doing some type of history. We've gone to see plays. We've gone to London for plays and for museums. We have had movie nights. We will sometimes have more informal meetings, especially in the evening for like a review session or going over our papers, and I will totally bring in candy because I am not above bribing. So I'm hoping that for myself and for my colleagues, it's not just sitting in a lecture and talking at students. We try to get them engaged and talking themselves and moving around. What's your favorite course module and why? So I've got two. I'm going to cheat. One is one I haven't taught here yet, but I'm going to at some point in the future. So one is one I do teach now. The one that I really enjoy is Shakespeare's Renaissance, and I know that sounds boring, and I think the name Shakespeare scares a lot of people, but I really enjoy it because it's my specialty. But also, I really enjoy getting these students to read these, what are really weird plays, because we don't just look at Shakespeare. They're familiar with Shakespeare, they know Shakespeare, they've been tortured with Shakespeare, but one, I hope I get them to see these plays in a new light, and I show lots of different film clips and different performance adaptations, but I also show them plays that probably no one else has ever heard of, The second module that I would throw in there is, I call it Literary Monsters. And we basically look at everything from Frankenstein to The Woman in Black to The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, to Jack the Ripper stuff or depictions. And, we ask ourselves, what makes a monster? What dictates who is an insider in society and who are the outcasts or the outsiders? And how do we deal as a society through stories with scary things? So those are my two favorite course modules. As a student, I'm worried about the academic workload. Should I be? I wouldn't say worried. I would just be prepared. It's going to be different from what you've done before, but hopefully it's a continuation. It's just a matter of, and I had this problem, okay, I still have this problem, saying I'm not going to take that nap, or I'm not going to go out with my friends for the 5th night in a row. I am actually going to sit down and read what I'm supposed to and get ready for our class discussion. So that's what you should worry about. What's your favorite piece of kit you teach with? Well, one of the only ones. Books, I guess. No, to be fair, films. I'm a huge film buff. I love talking about adaptations, and especially when it comes to teaching drama, which is a lot of what I do. I think a lot of the students are surprised at how often I will show even just 5, 10, 15-minute clips of different plays and the same scene from different versions as well. And they're excited because they're like, wait, we get to analyze movies? And it's like, yes, you do. And it's gonna help bring the play to life. It's one thing to read it on the page and kind of picture it yourself, but then I think it's a whole other experience to see how someone has creatively taken those words and translated them onto the screen. So yeah, definitely film. What has your most successful student gone on to do? I don't know if I could rank them. That's hard. English students have gone on to success in so many different fields, not just teaching, but obviously a lot of them have done really well in terms of teaching. They've gone on to postgraduate degrees, and they teach at high schools or secondary schools or universities. But honestly, one of the things that is enjoyable about still keeping in touch with students after they have graduated is to see all of the different things that they do, because there's no one path for a graduate with an English literature degree. There's so many things that they can do that I've seen them do and gone on to do really well with. And sometimes it surprises me what they end up doing, but almost all of them say, no, I am using this skill or that skill, or this way to make an argument, or this way to look for different evidence, or this way to convince someone how to do something or explain how to do something. They're using those types of skills that they learned in their degree in the jobs that they're being successful in. What would be your advice to your 18-year-old self when picking a degree? Honestly, what would I tell myself when I was 18? Probably to party less. I had way too much fun the first year. So I think it would be, do the one that interests you the most. Do the one that you're excited about. And obviously I hope that's English literature, but I've seen many students, and some of them, thinking of me being 18, which is a little frightening, and many of my friends who they chose degrees based on what their parents wanted. They chose degrees based on what they thought, or what a report said was going to make them the most money as soon as they graduated. What they thought was like a big and upcoming industry or trend or something. And with very few exceptions, they hated it. They hated what they were doing. They were bored. They were just going through the motions in their classes. They've gotten themselves into jobs that they're not excited about because they did a degree that they thought they should do. And I would advise my 18-year-old self to just do a degree that you're interested in, which is essentially what I did because I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I figured English was going to be broad enough to help me out. And then I ended up teaching.